So thanks everybody for joining today. The purpose of today's presentation is to walk you through the process of putting together customized newsletters for whoever you would like to send them to through the Soundboard. This is going to be a three-step process that we're going to walk through because to send a newsletter, you've got to have people to send it to. So step one is going to be going out there and getting your contacts and setting up a contact list. Second step is going to be importing that list into Soundboard in a manner that Soundboard can use it. And then the third and easiest step is actually creating the newsletter itself. And so we'll start with the first step, the essential step of having a contact list. So we're signed into the Soundboard. I'm going to go ahead and click the menu here at the top right. And we're going to start at contact list. So we've got contact lists and newsletters grouped together here. We want to start with this. The first time that you visit the contact list page, you're not going to have any lists like I do. I've got a number of them set up for demonstration purposes. So there's two ways to think about contact lists. You can think about them from the perspective of you can group people into lists based on topics, which is what I've done here, for the purpose of creating different newsletters for each group with topics of interest to those people. Or you can just do a big old list. Like these are some other larger test lists that I'm playing with, okay? So you can see they've got a lot of people in them, whereas these just have a handful of people in them. Okay, but either way you want to handle it, you can have as many lists as you want going. So we're going to add a list, and so here's where we name the list. So we're going to title this one, let's call this one September Newsletter. And then in the description, we'll mark this as all active customers and leads, because why not send good content to people that we would like to be customers? So when we create this list, here's our September newsletter list. It's empty. There's two ways to add contacts to this. You've got an add contact button. So when you click this, this is going to bring you to a one at a time field here. So I'll put myself in. And my name. Now notice the email is required field. The name is not, but it makes it look a little neater when you create it. So when you create that, now here is that contact in the list. But if you have more than 20 people you want to send this to, then it can be really unwieldy or cumbersome to do that on a one-by-one basis. Or you may be like the person I talked to on Monday that had over 5,000. Okay, that is not how you want to get all of this into the Soundboard. So we are going to click on the import button here, and we get this pop-up. So we can import from a CSV. If you are not familiar with the CSV, it's simply a type of spreadsheet file that is the most simple of all of the file types from a database standpoint, okay? Microsoft Excel, Google Docs, and if you have a Mac and you use Numbers, all of those programs can export, or you can save the file as a CSV file. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at a fake database that I've got set up, and I'm going to show you how to get information from that place to a spreadsheet and then get the spreadsheet here, okay? So stay with me. You can do this. Also keep in mind, I am not a rep, so I don't have access to the virtual office. But what I'm going to show you is a spreadsheet or information from my system that's set up as fake information for this purpose. And the tactic that I'm going to take is going to work the exact same in your virtual office, okay? So we're going to head over here to, we're going to leave Soundboard sitting here, and in another tab, I'm going to head over to my fake database that I have set up, okay? So this column here is the name column. And then this column obviously is the email column. And then this is a bunch of data that we don't need for this particular spreadsheet. But your virtual office has more information than you need for your spreadsheet, because all we need is a name column and an email column. That's all we want. So here's how you get this information off of this page, because the virtual office does not have an export to CSV button. I have seen people export their contacts to a PDF, but that doesn't help us. We need it in CSV format, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to literally drag it, click and drag, holding the click, and I'm going to highlight all of this text so that we can copy it, okay? So then we're going to right click on that text. Whoops, wrong thing. I'm on a Mac. So we're going to right click, and I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut. On a Mac, it's Command-C. On Windows, it's Control-C. And that is going to copy that text to our clipboard, okay? So now we need to take that however many rows of stuff that you just copied from your virtual office. We need to take that to a spreadsheet. Now, I'm using Google Docs. If you have a Gmail account, I'm a big fan of these. If not, if you're using Excel, it's all going to work the same way. You just put your cursor here in the first cell, and you paste it in, okay? So I've just pasted in my name column and my email address column, and then a bunch of stuff that I don't need. Okay, so first things first, let's delete all these columns we don't need. So I'm just gonna highlight them all, and I'm gonna right click on them, and I'm gonna delete these columns. This is useless information. So that's gone now. So now we have a name and an email column, okay, as simple as can be. Now, to get this from a Google Doc to our computer, we need to download it because Google Docs are in the cloud. Of course, if you're working on your computer on an Excel file or a numbers file, you can save it as a CSV file. Okay, and in a moment, I'll pull up Excel and show you what that looks like. But for now, we need to name it. So let's call this September customers, or whatever you want to name it. And in Google Docs, we want to download this as, and you see all these file formats that are here. Microsoft Excel is the typical spreadsheet format, and it's going to default to that. But you see down here, comma separated values, CSV. That's what we want. We want to download it or save it as a CSV. Now I'll open up Excel. You know what? I don't think my screen share is going to work for that. I'm just sharing it with the browser window. But you're all intelligent people. I'm sure you can figure it out. But it's the same kind of thing. If you're in Excel, just do File, and then one of your choices here will be Save As, and then all you have to do is pick this CSV format. Okay, it's going to, obviously the boxes are going to look a little different, but it's the same concept. Save As CSV. Alrighty, so now we have that. So we're going to go back over to our soundboard. It's still sitting here waiting to import contacts. So we're going to import contacts. It's going to bring up our file finder. We're going to look where we put it. In this case, it's my downloads folder. It's sitting right there. And we're going to open that. All right, and so just like that, our contacts are uploaded. Okay, so it puts in a nice name and email format here. Okay, so we can easily kind of glance through and see who's in this list. Now, if you would like to add more at a later date, you can easily import again to the same list. You can add them one at a time, or if somebody drops off your list or regrettably is moving to Singapore or whatever and is no longer going to be a customer, then you can remove that contact and your list still stays good. All right, I've covered a lot there. Let me stop. Does anybody have any questions on that part of the process? Again, please use the chat window to ask questions. I taught middle school for 11 years. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Okay, onward then. So we have created our September newsletter list. Let's go back to our menu here. Now we're going to create the newsletter itself. And that is surprisingly under the newsletters button here. So when you start yours is going to be empty. I have a number of them in draft format, and I have a number of them that are completed. We'll come back to the completed ones in a moment. So you can start working on one and it'll sit there until you send it, and it'll mark it as a draft. After you have sent it, it will come up with a date stamp of when you sent it, all right? So let's create a new newsletter. First thing, who are we sending it to? In this case, we're going to send it to our September newsletter group contact list that we just created. Who's it coming from? That's us. What email address is it coming from? That is also us. And then what is the title of our newsletter? Let's call it September's Healthy Living News. So this title, and you'll see in a moment, and I'll come back to this screen, but this title is going to be our big top of the email title, okay? Next thing is a logo. Would you like some kind of logo or graphic at the top of your email? You don't have to have it. So notice these first 4 fields are all mandatory. The next 3 are not mandatory. Of course, this is where you personalize it a little bit. So you can drop in a graphic. You have 2 ways of doing it. One is you can go to your computer and browse for a file. We are working on the size limitation. We're trying to increase that. So for now, if you hit something, you try to drop in, a big picture of you at the beach from your, high-end camera or high-end phone, then it probably isn't going to fit. At the moment, we're working on that, on increasing that size limitation. Or if you have, and this is a little bit a different way to think about it, but if you have a URL for an image, okay? If you know where a graphic is stored, you can drop in a URL, and then the size doesn't matter, okay? And a way to find that, just as an example, is you go to Google, and I'm going to look for Juice Plus logo. And under images here, under the Google search, we've got a lot of choices. So find one that you like. And then all you have to do is right click on it. And there's a bunch of things that come up. You want this, copy image address. If you copy the image address, it will actually copy the web link to where this graphic resides. So let's do that and come back in here and paste in that link. All right, and so you can see it's a Juice Plus logo photo file, and the rest of this doesn't matter. We don't care. So that's one way to do it. The other way, again, upload your own folder, or excuse me, photo. Now you've got 2 fields here. You've got 2 places where you can put in text. So you've got a body of text that can go above the articles and a body of text that can go below the articles. This will make more sense in a moment when we get to the preview step. But it says you can use plain text or HTML. We're working on an HTML rich text editor here, so you'll have a little bit more customization options. But for now, you can drop in. I'll just drop this in just to show you where it pops up, and then we can come back and customize it more in a moment. Okay, so we're set for our first step. So we hit create. Now it brings us to this same screen, but now notice we're on the breadcrumb trail where we can easily jump back and forth between the 3 steps. Okay, so we've got this step set the way we want. If we make any changes, we need to hit save and continue. If you don't make any changes, you can just jump around. The next thing is your articles. All right, so the newsletter is designed to be created quickly with just a few clicks from Soundboard content. So you can either create a search up here, or you can just start going through most recent to older as you go down. If you see an article that catches your eye, you can preview it. Okay, so click on it anywhere in the email, on the line that's not this button, and it's going to bring up the article itself for you to preview. Okay, the whole thing's here if you want to read it. If you like it, you click Add to Newsletter. If you don't, you just exit out. So once you add to newsletter, it's going to show up on this side. And then, of course, with one button, you can remove it if you don't like that. So let's throw in a few more. Here's a good Tower Garden post. This was a really interesting one. Kids in vegan diets is a big thing in the news lately. Some of our customers have pets, pet health, and here was a great one. This is a pretty cool thing. The electricity-free blender. Great way to move some complete shakes, right? All right, so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles, okay? I've heard from some people they like to do 1 to 2 to 3 tops. I've heard from some people they like to put 15 in. You know your audience best, so you decide. So we're going to now go to this preview and send screen. All right, so at the preview and send screen, there's a couple of things we can do. First of all, here's our graphic. If we don't like that, we can go back to the newsletter setup screen and change that image. Here's our title. And here's where the top text goes. And all the way down at the bottom, you guessed it, is where the bottom text goes. So again, if you don't like the look of this, you can change it just by hopping back over to this screen here, okay? Now notice we've got 3 themes. We've got this Picasso full size. So what it's going to do is it's going to pull these articles and it's going to do a full size graphic, the title of the article, and the first little blurb. And so that then the person who you're sending this to can read more about this article by clicking the link, and they'll be taken to the link directly. So with this Picasso full-size layout, every article is this same big shape. Works great if you have 2 or 3 articles. If you have 7 like we did, it gets a little long in the tooth. So let's change this. We've got 2 options for a better layout for multiple articles. We have a 2-column. So what the 2-column does is, again, the first article is going to be big. And then, as it says, it puts the rest of the articles into 2 columns. All right, and then there's our bottom text that's customizable. The third layout is the Warhol. So it will, again, keep the first one nice and big. Then it does a left, right, left for 3 articles, so the graphic swaps sides. And then the rest of the articles are all text-based. So this is a great way if you've got a bunch of articles kind of around one topic group and you want to put 15 in there. I think that's what is the word I'm looking for? Excessive. But again, some users have said that's the way they want to do it. So you can decide. Once you've got your layout set and you've got your article set and you've got your setup all set, then you can send yourself a test email. All right, so send it to yourself to see how it looks. It will look just like this looks. Okay, this is the HTML email. It's going to come to you just like this. Once you have completed that and you're pleased with the results, okay, we want to send it. When you click send email, it's going to tell you a couple things in this final pop-up. What is your contact list that you're sending it to? It's not too late to change it if you cancel this and go back to newsletter setup. Who's it coming from? Now the subject line of the email by default is going to be the same thing as the title down here. It's hidden behind the box. You can change that if you want to at this step. And then here's one more run through the articles. Okay, now I'm going to hit send here. Now keep in mind I'm sending it to a bunch of dummy emails. But once you send it, and so we're working on a little bit more in-depth analytics on this, but for now you can tell how many you sent, what's your open rate, and then what's your click rate of actual clicks to read the articles after you've sent it. And then if you have a malformed or bad email address in there, it'll tell you your fail rate. Again, we're working on more in-depth analytics on that. But for now, at least, you're getting a sense of your readership. So now when you come back to the newsletters field here, all of your past sent emails are here for further review. And you can kind of check on the lifespan. So again, I sent this one to a fake email address. But you can come check it out, remind yourself what articles you put in there. No reason to repeat content. So I hope that has been helpful. Again, open to questions, but the whole purpose of the way we've built this so far is you absolutely have to use your desktop computer to set up the contact list. Okay, there's no way to do that on mobile. But once you have these set, it's very easy for you, if you're logged into Soundboard on your mobile device, to create an entire newsletter. I've gotten it down to about 4 minutes. You can create a newsletter and send it to however many hundreds of people, thousands of people you've got with good content from the Soundboard. So, if you have questions, or we're always working to bring more features to our product. So if there's any particular things that you'd like to see, we've tried to make this, again, as simple as possible. And then down the road, as people grow used to it and ask for more features, we're going to be rolling in some more features for customization options to these. But for now, I think it's a pretty good solution as a customer care tool, both to stay in front of your customers on a regular basis with healthy living stuff, but you can also drop in links to Facebook events and things like that, and make it really a nice looking thing. So does anybody have any questions now? Feel free to chat them. Okay, Molly missed how to get the articles into the newsletter. Okay, Molly, real quick, what you do is, let me go, so on the newsletters, once you've created it, I'll go to one of these drafts here. Once you've created it in the newsletter setup window, it's going to take you to the articles window, and this is where you pick and choose Soundboard content. So this is available, and then this is what's been added. And then it's just a one button click, add to newsletter or remove it from your newsletter. And then once you've done that, you hit your preview and send button, and that brings you to your preview window. Okay, cool. All right, anybody else have any questions? These are sent through email only. Yes, France, the email, this is a true email HTML newsletter. All the other Soundboard content that's out there is, you can share this content through all the other social media platforms that we've got plugged into this thing. We've got Facebook for business pages and groups, Facebook Direct Messenger, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. This is an email, but it's not as pretty as what we just did. And then when you're on your mobile device and logged in, there's also a big old green button that's text. So you can directly text content to people with a, hey, I saw this and thought of you kind of thing. So yeah, the purpose of this is to give you something on a monthly basis, on a every 2-week basis, however you want, because my understanding is that when you get a new customer and you get them plugged into the virtual office, the home office is going to send them maybe 1 to 2 emails about the product and how to use it across the first month or 6 weeks or 2 months, and then it's radio silence from them. And so this is just one more aspect of that customer care, staying in front of people with good content, trying to be authoritative and relevant and all that stuff. And so I have yet to meet somebody who is taking Juice Plus who isn't at least interested in learning, more about the wider world of healthy living. So I hope that is helpful to you. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts, comments, or questions? So again, we'll post this on the Facebook page shortly. And then also we have a special coupon code going on. If you go to juiceplus.vip, if you've got anybody on your team that's not signed up for Soundboard, we have a Live Healthy promo code in place. It'll give you a 20% discount. And also you can tell folks that, I'll scroll down here. I don't want to give anybody a headache, but at the bottom here, our monthly giveaway is a Vitamix. So if you signed up in the month of September, you are automatically registered to win that. And so we'll give that away here at the beginning of October. And then we'll be at conference with a nice big booth. So come by and say hello. All right. Carrie, you got anything?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So just really quick while you're on that screen, also good to know, you guys, that you can always keep an eye on our Facebook page right here at the bottom where it says upcoming training sessions. We have not posted the next one yet, but we will be within the next 48 hours. So definitely keep an eye on our event page.
Yep. More trainings to come. There you go. It's empty right now, so there's past stuff. So there you go. We're in the middle of this one right now. Okay, cool. Well, thanks. Everybody have a great day. Oh, wait. One more thing. Oh, you're welcome, Leslie. Have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.